Good morning on this beautiful November day. What I'm going to show you are the three phases. Actually, there's four, but I'm going to skip a step here. The three phases of my Northern Plains horse bows. And I'm going to go so far as to call number 3 there on the bottom that's strung. Not just a horse bow, but a medicine bow. And hopefully you'll understand why. What I'm selling, of course, I'm hawking a product, is the blank, which is ready for sinew backing. This has been sanded, the back has been rounded. It's basically a tillered bow. Although it doesn't have string grooves on it, I'm pretty confident that it's ready to go. I wouldn't suggest just putting string grooves in, using it as a self bow. You could, and I would suggest that only do that if you are very familiar with wooden self bows, because you need to judge, how far you can pull it back and how far you can push it. But what you get, I believe it is a very reasonable cost of considering the design that went into this. It's red oak, and this bow was designed for red oak. And as I said in the previous video, a lot of people have in their minds that the horse bows back in the day were all Osage orange. Well, maybe in the south, but not in the north, because the Missouri Valley, where Osage orange ranged, was 1,000 miles away from where these bows were produced, so they used what materials they had on hand. Choke cherry, hop hornbeam, walnut, oaks, ash, service berry, what was available. And so this is phase 1. Now, I know that I have a lot of international viewers, and never fear, gang. The ones I sell on eBay are 48 inches long, and they exceed by 2 inches the United States Postal Service's limits for sending to vast majority of countries out there. I can reduce this to 45 3/4 inches, and then I can mail it through priority mail internationally. And that's exactly what I did with this one. This was twin to this, same piece of wood, and steam bented, set back the handle and reflex the limbs, and sinew backed it. So this is getting close. Don't think that you can sinew back a bow and it's going to be ready in a week. It takes probably 8 months and average humidity and temperature to fully cure. However, I let this dry, cure, for 3 weeks, and then it sat above on a rack in a house that has a wood stove, so it was dry, hot air. And I could tell that it's about ready, because if I was to put this against the wall, tip against the wall handle, when it hits higher reflexes, you know that it's about ready. So this is ready. 46 inches long, because it's going to Malaysia. Hey, Maud. Needs to be finished. String grooves. Final tillering. I'm going to reduce the weight so it's not a beast. So it's more usable, user-friendly. But that's easy. 80 grit sandpaper. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's basically tillered even strokes along each length to get it down to your draw weight. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Until you get it down to the weight you want. You don't need to judge the bend here or here, because it's just the way I do things. This is a fully functional bow once it's strung. And all it needs is to be reduced. The hard work has been done for you. The final phase. Get close. These were warriors' bows. There's a difference between a soldier and a warrior. Warriors are individual. They take their weapons and they decorate it according to personal taste. If I was to call this by any name, which you notice if you buy my bows, I don't even sign them really. I put my Boyer's mark into them. I mean, the name that comes to mind here is Ghost. Using colors that would have been used back in the day, just buckskin handle there. And I went from, I'll include a B50 string. I actually used artificial sinew because it's a little thicker. A 12-ply artificial sinew string is a bigger diameter than a 12-ply B50 string. And if you use natural fibers, whether or not it's gut or rawhide, twisted rawhide or sinew, or plant fibers, they're going to be thicker strings than B50. And this has the look of rawhide in a rough way. It doesn't look like sinew. It looks more rawhidey. But I like this on here. Now, I did my string grooves authentically. Sometimes there was just a single one on both sides. But I did a double so I can have a convenient loop there. But only a single string groove on this end, and that's the end that's tied on. And I've got a video on tying on. And so there we go. And just, it reinforces my belief that this is a really greatly designed bow, simply because after shooting it, pulling it back, when I unstring it, it goes back into reflex. I still have a couple inches of reflex, and if I let it sit for a while, it would gain back its original reflex. I'm going to talk just a little bit about how beautiful this design is. It has, let me take this one, set back handle and deflex limbs. What happens when you deflex the limbs? Well, what you do is you're compressing the wood on the belly, stretching the wood on the back apart, and I believe, I mean, nobody has done a thesis on this that I'm aware of, but when you deflex it, what you're doing is you're compressing the fibers on the belly, and I believe, this is just my belief, but I'm pretty sure it's true, I've compressed them down to a point where they've reached equilibrium as far as going back to their original deflection after you use it. So I've pre-compressed the fibers down here, and then to eliminate the problems with, say, string follow, you set back the handle. So what I have here is basically a form that you can use it, and you're not going to have problems with string follow because I've already pre-compressed the fibers on the back. So they've reached their stopping point, their wall. And so that's just another reason why this is such a beautiful design. And then I believe I have 8 tendons. 8 tendons on the back, and then it takes another tendon for the wraps. You can see the wraps there. And I am in awe of the horse bows. I am. It's a beautiful design. And I believe I did it justice with the amount of thinness and the wideness here to go along with the characteristics of red oak to produce a reliable, good bow that's not going to suffer, even though it's a short bow, the problems with string follow and degradation. I should really have a shorter arrow. This was made in the way of the arrows that went along this, with this, stone tip, the old ones before trade points, steel trade points. Dogwood shaft that's grooved. Those grooves will keep the arrow straighter over time because they form little spines when you heat treat them. A raised nock for pinch grip. However, this is a long arrow. If this was 26 inches, this would be very accurate for this style of bow. It looks kind of funny, doesn't it? It's darn near as long as a bow. But 26-inch arrow, you'd be there. Alright. Well, thank you again. And if you're watching this from another country, be it Malaysia, or England, or Sweden, or Germany, and you want a well-designed bow ready for sinew backing that you can have a great time decorating and create like the coolest bow in the world, just get a hold of me in the comment section. I'll reduce this to 45 3/4 inches so I can mail it post so the shipping is reasonable. Have a great day, and I hope you can hear the lake roaring in the background. It's just beautiful out here. And Jesse, man, you make beautiful bows, and you've really touched my heart, and I wish you the best and good luck with your health problems. You're a great guy, and somewhere, someday, we're gonna meet, we're gonna go boar hunting.